So happy Monday, everybody. In this Eternal Evolution video, we're going to go through everything a new player needs to know from zero to hero, basically. So in this video, we're going to go through things like summoning tickets, when to use them, all the promo codes so that you can get a kickstart to your account, where you should spend your diamonds, what resources to save and what to spend, what champs to build first, where to use gene hybrids and who on, what champs to EX30 first, what the talent tree is, what parts of the game you should focus on first, and when do special events appear. And if you're going to be a low spend, where should you spend some of your cash? And then we'll just tie it all together at the end for the new accounts. So before we get started, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like to subscribe and also chuck a comment in the bottom as to what content you guys are most thirsty for, so that I can chuck some more content out like that. So the first thing to know about Eternal Evolution is that there's a new server every single day. And for the first 5 weeks of the server, it's actually kind of on a rail system where it doesn't deviate too much. So you know that in week 1, there's going to be this particular hero you can summon. Week 2, there's Emma. Week 3, there's Crete. Week 4, there's Mazrani. And then week 5, I think is Leo or Xavier. So, and then in accordance with that, all the events and everything that launch, they'll all be the same for the first 5 weeks. The only sort of change in that is if the devs decide to actually release new content, and they'll just chuck that in. So you might be in week 2 where you just have Emma and Emma's evolution event, but they might release a new hero where there's an event for that hero too. So the biggest question I get is, where should I use my summoning tickets? So let's go on to that first. So to get there, we are going to the recruitment center. And here we go. This is where you can spend all your tickets. So in the first the first day, your basic tickets are called novice tickets, and I think you have to pull like 3 or 10 or something, and then there's changed name to basic, but they're the same thing. So with basic tickets, I just wait until I've got 10 or more, and then I just do a 10x pull. There's no reason for that. It just saves me having to press the button 10 times. So that's where I'm going to use my basic tickets. In the first sort of 4 days, you want to spend a lot of your diamonds to pull as many of these as you can, just to get your food up and a few extra heroes. Every time you pull one of these tickets, you get one of these data chips. And with those data chips, once you get the right number, so 85 or 120, you can actually go in and purchase a hero from here as well. So that is your basic tickets. And you can use those tickets whenever you want. As soon as you've got 10 or whatever you want, just pull them as soon as you can. With the advanced, you definitely need a little bit more sort of control over yourself, I suppose. So the advanced tickets, you can get some really good heroes out of, and you only want to be spending these when there's a recruitment event on, because the recruitment event will bring you a lot more resources and free heroes and stuff. So definitely hold out on using these only on a recruitment event. The additional thing with the advanced tickets is you have a wishlist system. So you can select 5 heroes that you want to have drop more regularly. So if there's a particular hero that you really want, you can just select them. You can see what your chances are for summoning a hero here. So your wish list has a 0.4% chance of summoning a hero that you want. And then it's basically like 0.1% for most heroes. And then you get up to your super common stuff, and you've got about a 5% chance. Limited tickets are much more complicated. You, in general, should save them for a limited event as well, but use them last, just to kind of get yourself up to the threshold that you want to get in the recruitment event. But there are some times outside the recruitment event that you should summon on your limited tickets, just because it helps your progression in the same game so much. So the first time outside a recruitment event you should summon is in week 2, and that is actually on a recruitment event, but you want to summon at least 80 for Emma. The reason for that is you'll get a pity copy of Emma, because every time you summon 60, you're guaranteed, or the first time you summon 60, you're guaranteed the triple S hero. But if you summon 80, you'll get yourself enough data chips in here to get yourself a gene hybrid, which is a free evolution on a triple S hero. So that's the first time you should use limited tickets. That's in addition with the recruitment event in week 2. The next time you should summon is on Crete Banner. Summon a few on him just to get your data chips up. But the following week is Mazrani event, and you really want to get copies of Mazrani because he is one of the best healers in the game, if not the best healer. And you can get him to Immortal if you play your cards right there. So make sure you've got 60 or 80 limited tickets for Emma on week 2 and 60 limited tickets for Mazrani on week 4. And yeah, You don't have to do that, but the way that I've played it, that's the best value for money that you can get. So going on from your limited tickets, the next biggest question is what should I spend my diamonds on? So it does change a little bit early game, but the most important thing to spend your diamonds on in the first, say, 3 to 4 days is buying as many basic 10x summons as you can. So you get basically uh, one summon is 300 gems, so you get one for free if you do the 10x. So only do the 10x. And yeah, I would be spending all my gems that I have on this in the first couple of days. The other place that you can spend your gems, which is really important, even when you're end game, is here. So this is basically the amount of runs that you can do in a dungeon to get yourself more prototypes, more commanders, and most importantly, more equipment. So this is really important. There's also in the shop, you can spend a combination of gold and gems in here. If you have tons of gems, so for me, if I'm over 70,000 gems, I'll start purchasing these. But sometimes you can get lucky and there's these red runes. And the red runes are the most rare resource in the game. They're very expensive, but it's always worth buying. So it didn't even matter if I had 1,000 gems, I would buy whatever I can with that. So red runes. The next one is on your beginner screen. There's a thing here called Fast Patrol, and at my level, I can do this 5 times a day, and it's the fastest way to get XP for your heroes. So keep that in mind. Next up is what have we got? We have the Elite campaign. So actually, I should actually do this because this is actually another really, really good way to get up a lot of resources in your for your heroes. And so, for instance, I've run that 3 times and I've just got myself 75k of XP. So yeah, always purchase these every single day because it's good to level heroes. So the next one is if there's anywhere where you can actually purchase, say, from the shop to get talent resource, XP resource, prototype resource, anything like that. And I'll just show you where that is. So it'll be in this screen here. Just refresh. Shouldn't do this, but I'll do it to show you. So this resource here is your prototype XP. That's really good to get. These are yellow runes. These are quite important to get too, and only because I've got a lot of gems, I'll buy them. And if I had more gems, I'd keep buying those. So that's your XP resource, one of them. All right, so that's pretty much everything I use gems for from beginning to end. And again, you can do whatever you want, but never ever go and buy this. It is such a waste of money. You can go buy a run in the dungeon for like 50 gems and you could get that piece of equipment, whereas they're going to charge you 2,250. So you've wasted 2,200 gems. So the next part we're going to go through is what resources are important to hold on to and what resources you should spend as soon as you get them. So there's a gene hybrid, which I don't have any copies of, but I've shown you one before. These here, you need to be very, very careful. Like, don't just willingly spend these. Go do a lot of research when to spend them. But basically, when you're evolving heroes, some levels of evolution just need any hero, and some levels of evolution require a certain hero. So when to spend a gene hybrid, at the moment I'm trying to level Leo. So I need a copy of him to get him another level. But you can use gene hybrid instead of that, which is what I'll be using my gene hybrids on. So gene hybrids, be very, very careful, be very selective of what heroes you use them on, and only use them when you need that hero, not any other hero. So the next one is your EX30. So, or your runes, sorry. So in here you have red runes, yellow runes, and purple runes. You do get tons of these later on, but basically you only want to be using, it takes 300 to get them up from say 0 to 10 and then of the purple, and then it takes 300 to get them from 10 to 20, and then it takes 300 red to get them from 20 to 30. You only really want to go and spend these runes if you can get them all the way up to the next level. So there's no point getting them up to like +9 or +19 or +29. just you want to make sure you have enough to go all the way. So that's when you want to be spending your runes. Um, with these resources here, it's quite easy to progress in the campaign up until about campaign stage 30. So because I'm up to like stage 40, progress is so slow. There's no point in me holding out because the difference in resource that I'm going to get is going to be very minimal. I can show you how your resource is generated. So the further you progress in campaign, the more of this you'll get. So when you first start out, you might only be getting 100 per minute or 50 per minute. But once you get up to like campaign stage 40, you're getting like 8 times that or 12 times that or something. And it goes the same with all these resources. So once the progress really slows down, start using all of your resources in your bag. So for example, I'll use this. I'll use this. And I'm only saving this because you only use it very, very rarely. So save your soul rubelite until you need it. But all the other ones, once you hit campaign 30, you can start kind of happily spending it bit by bit because your progress is so slow. So now we're going to go through what are the items or the cards that you can use. So these here, you can only ever get, this little symbol down here is Wentfair. So there's no point holding on to these. You can just summon them all. The only one you want to hold on to out of these ones is the one where you can select. So here where it's got no image down the bottom, and I've got 46 of them, it actually allows me to select which class or which faction of hero I want to summon on. So I could summon all on Wentfair, or all on Atlas, or all on Terran. So you want to save those for when you're actually evolving a particular hero and you might be short of a hero. So that's all the items and how I'd use them. And then with the shards, it's the same down here. I'd always summon the ones that are locked to a faction, but I wouldn't summon on the ones that are not locked to a faction. I'd hold on to those until I actually need them. These are just elite. As soon as you've got 60 of them, pull them. And then with these ones, sometimes it's worth holding on to these because you may not know which character you want to evolve. But for me, I know I'm really keen on res. So if I had 60 of them, I would just summon res on that. All of these, as soon as you get up to 60, you can just summon them. There's no point holding out. But yeah, you're just looking for the little red dot to come up in the corner, and then you can summon them. Right, so that covers all the items, resources that you should spend and what you should save. So the next thing we're going to go on to is like what heroes should you actually try and focus on first of all. So with that, the most important thing to do in the game is to actually progress through the campaign because that generates all your resources and everything. So you want the heroes that are going to help you get the best gear, progress you through the campaign. So the ones that we're going to cover is Serena, Mazrani, Emma, Taylor, and then another one that you can choose basically. And the reason I choose those ones is Serena, Taylor, Emma, Mazrani, you can all get free to play. You can get extra copies of them, and for the most part, you can get them up to Immortal quite early on in the game. So that's just a default list of what works really well. You can go down any sort of path that you want, but that's what I found is the best way to get the strongest characters early on. So the next thing with the EX30 is, like I said, it's a really, really rare resource, and the buffs that it gives you towards the end is quite strong. So for me, my priority was Mazrani because the healer, he's my frontline tank, my sustain, so he will help me get through every single part of the game. Once he gets up to EX30, his healing is doubled, and his healing is also extended by 2 seconds. So just an incredible combo. You can't go wrong with that. The next one that I'd recommend, and it's not the path that I took, but it's the mistake that I made, is that I would actually go for Leo second, and then I would be looking at going for Bailey. He's quite a hard character to get, but by the time you're looking for your first EX30 character, third, you'll be quite far along in the game because it takes probably 2 or 3 months to get there. The things to know about with the EX30 is that with Leo, he's at EX10. I can't actually get him up until he's Legendary Star 1. So he needs one more evolution before I can actually do his EX30. And then for, not that I have this one EX'd up at all, but if I wanted to go to EX30 on that character, they have to be immortal, so they have to have this gold banner. Now, the most important part of the actual entire game, like how to progress, is your campaign. So like I said a little bit before, is that this determines how much resources you get. The more resources you have, the further ahead you'll be on everyone in your server. So on my free to play, it's been the hugest focus of my progression. And you see on the server I'm ranked 11th. So that's the most important place to progress. And then there's another place that kind of goes hand in hand with it, which is a soul mine. And you just want to progress through there as fast as you can as well. It doesn't build any sort of like passive resources, but it's just another version of campaign. Then we come into the dungeons. So Disa Caves is the easiest to progress in, and it gives you the best bang for buck when you're trying to strengthen your heroes. So getting the equipment here is really, really important. And you also get your selectable faction summoning shards, which really does help beef up your team as well. Uh, Next up is Sinsaro Marsh, and this is where you get your commanders, and your commanders just help your entire team. So it's not as strong as equipment, but it's a buff to the entire team. And sometimes it can give buffs to specific heroes as well as you get later on. Finally, you got the Tara Dome. It's the hardest one to progress in. The boss is quite tough compared to the other two, but you'll get prototypes, which is a buff to your entire team, and it has special traits as well. And finally, is the Ancient Altar. Combining all three of these, getting further along in it, you get stronger into the Ancient Altar, and this is where you get your largest quantity and best equipment in the entire game. With the arena, I wouldn't really focus too much on it. The rewards in the Galactic Arena are quite good, but the rewards in the regular arena are quite bad. With the Rift Fissure up here, just progress through it as you need. It gives you a few extra resources, so it's good to actually do. But you'll kind of get through that in the first couple of weeks anyway, or week really. So now we're going to go on with special events. So as I mentioned, the first 5 weeks is on a bit of a rail system. So you'll get things like an elite chapter up here, you'll get evolution events and all that sort of stuff. But what repeats constantly is the change between the Rise of Hero event and the Twilight Land event. So for 2 weeks, this will be active, and this will finish in 3 days and 40 minutes. And then the Twilight Lands will become active. So you just bounce between these two. And then as well, there's another event called the Summit Arena, and that lasts for 2 weeks roughly. And that pops up at the same time as the Rise of Hero events. So they're the special events that kind of repeat themselves, but you just want to keep an eye out for things like Galactic Treasure, where up to 5 times a day you can go into the Galactic Arena. If you win, you get a token here. You can then spend that to do a draw and have a chance to, well, 5 chances to win tickets here. You will max it out if you participate every single day, and then it'll just roll over to new rewards that aren't as good as the first. Another event we have current at the moment is Return to Giant Tower. I'm not too keen on it, but it's a way to get some more Triple S heroes. The Quantum Mimic, just by doing all your daily sort of progression, you'll get 3 of these little Mimic machines, hit it 3 times, and you will have a chance to get some free items. Military expansion. So military expansion is your paid profiles. So you always get this one for free because it's very, very small. But anything after that, well, you might be able to get to that for free. But anything after that is those players that are really putting some money into the game, and they're just getting rewarded for spending money, which obviously helps the devs stay employed and improve it. And yeah, and then finally, as I mentioned, you got Summit Arena. So they're your sort of ad hoc events that will pop up throughout the game. So finally, I just want to go on with, if you want to actually spend some money in the game, where's the best place to spend it, where you're going to get your best value. So we'll jump into the store. Actually, before I do that, one thing to note is that if someone has this icon on their like homepage, it actually means they haven't spent any money at all in the game. As soon as you spend $1, or if you could buy something for $1, you actually get 1 free copy of Serena and this. This is the best value because you get it for free whenever you spend something. But next to that, the weekend event pops up every single Friday. It lasts for 72 hours, and each day you get this released to you. If you go buy it on the Sunday, which is the last day, it just means you can collect it all at once. Costs $5. Really, really good value. This special pack is available once per day. It's awesome value as well. Gives you some stamina for the dungeons, some tickets, and then some summoning shards. With the monthly pass, this is a really good one. So this one's not so good. But yeah, if you want to have like rewards each day for a month, then you can get this pass. With these passes, both of these are really good. So with your Wasteland, you can unlock the premium version, and as you progress through it and get more points, you unlock these extra rewards. But these tickets here, in general, are worth $1 each, sort of what the general value is. But here you're getting 42 of them for $25, so you're getting 17 for free. You're also getting 3 copies of Sorietta, Gems, Talent Potion, so that's well worth it. This one's also worth it. It's more about stamina and resources for getting more equipment in the game. Growth Fund is probably the best value for money out of the whole lot. So $15 will get you 33,600 gems, and that you can spend on. There's tons of stuff you can spend that on. So yeah, very very good value pack. I'll just go over this one again. So this is your military rank. So the military rank isn't really specific to this store, but every time you spend $5 in store, you'll actually get yourself. Where are they? So $5 is equal to 300 of these points, and so every 300 points you get, you basically move up in military rank. And this is your how to show how much of a pay to win player you are. So the further along you are in your military rank, the more pay to win you are. You do get this very very slowly over time. So I'm rank 5 free to play, but I think I earn about 60 a day free to play. So yeah, you're looking at sort of 20 days for me to progress to the next rank. So that's what the military rank's all about. It's just again a way to encourage people to spend money in the game so that devs can keep building. There's also other packs that I can't show you because it'll pop up here as a special progress reward. And as you hit certain milestones within the game, there'll be some good value pack that's normally valued anywhere between like 1,000% value to 2,500% value. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're average, totally up to you. The last thing we'll go for with the spending of actual money is your value packs. No. So there's none actually available at the moment unless they're in the military rank store. Yeah, here we go. So these packs are always valued at $100, and Bailey Hudson is arguably the best hero in the game. And then these red prototypes here are also impossible to get except for special events or in the store. So they're hard to get, they're hard to get. It is definitely a wow purchase because you're spending $100 on them, but you are getting other resources for them as well. So I just sort of mentioned that that is not a low spend item, it's a very high spend item. And even on my main account, I haven't purchased those. So the last thing we'll go on with is the like free redemption codes you can get. So if you jump on any sort of content creators Discord, and I'll link mine below, it'll be in the comments. You can jump onto there. They'll have a list of all the current EE codes, and to actually enter in your codes, you jump into settings, jump into gift code, you'll type in a code, and I think one of the recent ones that I heard about was this, but I've already claimed it. So let's say it's expired, or I've already used it. So that's where you do the gift codes. So that's pretty much everything about Eternal Evolutions. I thought I'd just like give a complete user guide on for beginners, and I've been playing this now for about 2 months and really enjoying it. So I hope you guys have a great time with it. Again, please like, subscribe, jump on the Discord. I've only just created it, so there's probably no one in there yet, but it's where I'm going to upload a lot of this content to link it in with different aspects. So have a great time, have a great day. Thanks for listening.